My arranged fiancé swore he'd never marry me, then saw my face and slapped himself with reality. Evan was completely against the marriage arranged by our families. Right before the engagement, he declared, even if Amber Taylor stood in front of me completely naked, I wouldn't spare her a glance. I am Amber Taylor. Later, both families met for dinner. Evan sat there with a cold, expressionless face, never once looking at me. As we were leaving, he passed by me and casually tossed his jacket over my shoulders, wearing less won't help. Even if you're pretty, with a great figure and big eyes, I still won't give in and marry you just because my parents said so. I looked down at my full-coverage long-sleeved outfit. Did he even hear what he was saying? Ever since he heard he was going to be engaged to me, Evan had thrown tantrums at home. He accused Mr. and Mrs. Parker of being outdated, arguing that modern people believe in love, not arranged marriages. Uncle Parker was at his wits' end. You haven't even met Amber. How can you be so sure you won't like her? Evan hated being forced into anything. What, you think the moment I see her I'll fall for her? You're all just siding with outsiders. He ran away from home multiple times and even faked illness. His friends tried to talk him down. Bro, we all have to go through arranged marriages. Just accept it. Furious, Evan slammed the table in his private clubroom. Accept it? Hell no. Even if Amber was standing in front of me with no clothes on, I still wouldn't give her a look. Everyone close to Evan knew, he craved freedom, hated control. It wasn't even about the girl's looks or personality. To him, marriage itself was impossible. No idea what kind of magic Amber used on my parents. They keep going on about how amazing she is, like she's the most beautiful, perfect woman on earth. Right as he finished, Evan looked up, and locked eyes with me as I passed by. My fingers tightened around my wine glass. His ears turned red and he gave a little cough. That girl just now definitely looked better than her, he muttered. I was speechless. This club, actually, was my private business. When my company work isn't too busy, I like to stop by. Evan and his crew were frequent visitors. Though he didn't recognize me, I had seen him many times. So, when my parents told me about the proposed marriage with the Parker family, I wasn't opposed. For one, the Parkers were wealthy and kind. Uncle and Aunt Parker had always been good to me. Secondly, though Evan was a spoiled rich boy, he'd been raised with strict discipline. He hadn't picked up the usual vices of second-generation elites. And honestly, he was very easy on the eyes. Every time Evan showed up at my club, business boomed. After hearing my friends gush about him long enough, I'd started paying attention too. A tall, chiseled nose. Deep-set eyes. And that little mole under one eye, dangerously attractive. In this whole club, he was clearly the star. Miss, can I add your WeChat? I turned around to see a stranger handing me a drink, his slightly weathered face unfamiliar. Something about the drink looked off, so I quickly messaged my manager. Sorry. I don't add strangers on WeChat, I said coldly. The man suddenly grabbed my wrist. What's your game? I've had my eye on you for a while now. You're here every day, aren't you just fishing for a man? I've got money, babe. Nausea rose in my throat. I was about to reveal my identity when a cool voice cut in. Didn't you hear her say no? Evan stood beside me, hands in his pockets, eyes coldly scanning the man. His crew arrived right after. The man's companion panicked. Hey, that's young Master Paul, he's from the Parker family. We can't mess with him. Realizing it was Evan, the stranger's face changed instantly. Oh. Young Master Parker, of course, if she's yours, I wouldn't dare compete. Mine? Evan's gaze darkened, his voice thick with menace. Clearly still fuming over the arranged marriage, he'd just found a perfect target. I quickly signaled Jaden to handle it. His friends helped pull the man away. I heard the club owner's not easy to deal with either. Leave it to them. Yeah, Brother Evan, if President Parker finds out you caused more drama before your engagement, he might lock you up. Just then, both Evan and I got a phone call. I checked the screen and stepped aside to answer. Amber, your Uncle Parker arranged a family dinner. I'll send you the location. Is Evan going too? I asked, glancing over at him frowning on his call. Yes. It's a good chance for you two to get to know each other. After hanging up, I quietly walked past Evan, just in time to hear him still protesting. He reminded me of the family cat when it's taken to the vet. All bark, no bite. And yet, on time, he left the club grumbling all the way to the family dinner. 7 p.m. By the time I arrived, the entire Parker family was already seated. Evan was still resisting. I'm not good enough for Amber. I already love someone else. It was love at first sight, okay? We met at a club. The moment I saw her, I knew she was the one. Just as Aunt Parker was about to hit him with the soup ladle, I walked in. The room fell silent. Evan froze when he saw me. Damn. Speak of the devil. The next second, Aunt Parker beamed and waved me in. Amber, come eat. You must be starving. I responded and took the farthest seat from Evan. Aunt Parker looked at Evan's face and asked, "Now that you've seen Amber, still think your father and I were exaggerating?" It took a moment before Evan finally looked away. "Even if she's beautiful, it doesn't matter. I'll never accept a marriage arranged by my parents," he muttered. But from the corner of his eye, he kept sneaking glances at me. "Uncle, Auntie, here's a little something for you both," I said, handing them gifts from my bag. "This necklace, wasn't it supposed to be impossible to find? This jade plant, I've searched auction after auction for one. Amber, how did you manage to get it?" "As long as you like it," I replied with a smile. The dinner went smoothly enough. Evan kept his usual cold expression, lips tight, never once looking my way. But when we were leaving, Uncle Parker said, "Evan, why don't you take Amber home?" "No need. My driver will." Before I could finish, Evan stood, walked to the door, and casually picked up my purse. "I'll drive you home." Evan rolled the window down, letting in the night air. The temperature inside the car dropped noticeably. I instinctively pulled my sleeves tighter. Without a word, Evan tossed his jacket over to me. "If you're afraid of the cold, why dress like that?" Sometimes, I really wished I could tape someone's mouth shut. Evan glanced at me, then quickly looked away. "Even if you've got big eyes, a great figure, a pretty face, and a sweet temper, I still won't marry you." I rolled my eyes. Not worth a response. When we arrived, I tried to hand his jacket back. He brushed me off. "You're dressed so lightly, if you catch a cold, Uncle Taylor and my dad will both come after me." Then, without another word, he shoved the jacket back into my arms and quickly got into his car. I looked down at my very standard long-sleeved outfit. Then glanced at the speeding car disappearing around the corner. Does he even listen to the nonsense he says? "Did you see Amber already? Is she as gorgeous as the rumors say? Brother Evan, say something. We're dying over here." "Yeah. You've got to tell us. If you really don't like her, we'll chip in and help you run away again. I've saved up some allowance just for you, Brother Evan." Restless and irritated, Evan had gathered his usual group of friends to drink at my club that night. Nina White was there too. She was Evan's childhood friend, practically raised alongside him. Everyone had thought they'd end up together eventually, until the news of Evan's engagement to me broke. Nina had taken it hard. But seeing Evan's current frustration seemed to bring her some comfort. Someone brought up, "Brother Evan, I heard a major client from the Taylor family saw Amber once and started chasing her, hasn't given up in 3 years. People say she's really stunning. Do you think it's exaggerated?" Nina's tone turned sharp. "Brother Evan would never like a pushy, aggressive woman like that. He prefers someone gentle. Besides, the world's full of pretty girls, what's the big deal?" "Not true." Evan, who had been silent all this time, suddenly interrupted. "She's rare. That kind of beauty, you don't see often." He threw a sidelong glance at Nina. "Way better looking than you." Nina's smile twitched. Her expression faltered. Someone laughed awkwardly. "So, Brother Evan, are you giving in?" "Absolutely not." Evan looked like someone had stepped on his tail. "I won't go crawling to her every day just because she's pretty, like my dad wants. No way." Frustrated, he downed another drink, paid the tab, and stormed out. Just then, I had finished speaking with the manager in the neighboring private room and stepped out. That's when I saw Nina approaching in her high heels. "What a coincidence. Evan was just here," she said with a smug smile. "I heard you two just met? He said seeing you once was more than enough, never wants to see you again." I smiled politely. "He doesn't want to see me? That might be difficult." After all, Uncle Parker had just assigned him to a company owned by my family. From now on, we'd be seeing each other almost daily. "Amber," Nina sneered, "just because you got the Parker family to agree to this marriage doesn't mean you've won. Evan can't stand you. What's the point of marrying someone like that?" I thought for a moment. Well, if he dislikes me, and I'm not particularly fond of him either, I suppose that makes us even. Just as I turned to leave, a low voice behind me made me jump. "Evan? Brother Evan, why are you back?" His friends looked at him curiously. Evan answered casually, "Forgot something." Justin glanced at me, then at Evan, his tone full of mischief. "Isn't she the icy beauty you saved earlier this afternoon, Brother Evan? That look in your eyes wasn't exactly pure." Evan shot him a death glare. Murder was practically written on his face. Nina suddenly laughed. "Amber, you haven't told them who you are, have you?" Justin's eyes widened. "Amber Taylor? Wait, sister-in-law?" Nina frowned and hissed, "Justin, they're not together yet." Justin instantly backtracked. Right, my bad. Amber, don't take it personally. Brother Evan not liking you isn't your fault. Honestly, he doesn't like any woman. All he ever does is hang out with us guys." The more he spoke, the more off it sounded. Evan threw his keys straight at Justin's head. "Shut up. I glanced at the time. I've got things to do. I'll head out. As soon as I left, Evan's friends started brainstorming escape plans. Amber didn't seem super into you either. If you want to call off the engagement, there's still hope. Yeah, though I doubt the Taylor family would settle for someone like me. Wish my old man worked harder, we might have had a shot. Hey, brother Evan. Where are you going? Meanwhile, I was standing at the street corner, waiting for Uncle Fisher to pick me up. But instead of him, his son Tim showed up. He stepped out of the car, carrying a small cake. I was nearby. My dad got called away by Uncle Taylor last minute. Here, he said, holding up the cake, brought you something sweet. I got in the car with him, the two of us chatting and laughing as we drove off. Completely unaware that someone had been standing at the club's entrance, watching until the car vanished out of sight. The next day, Tim drove me to work again. My dad's tied up this week. I'm filling in. As soon as I stepped out of the car, my assistant Linda came rushing over. Sis Amber. The young President Parker is here. I raised an eyebrow. He showed up earlier than I expected. Inside the conference room, Evan leaned back in his chair. Long fingers rested on his knees, the posture casual, but clearly he'd been waiting a while. Gone was his usual loose, carefree look from the club. Today, he wore a perfectly tailored designer suit. The transformation was startling. He looked sharp, restrained, radiating authority like a man born to lead. I approached, heels clicking. Uncle Parker said you wouldn't arrive for a few more days. Evan blinked when he saw me, then shifted his gaze to Tim behind me. He blurted, new driver? I thought for a second. Not exactly. I briefed him on the role he'd be taking, just as planned. As I walked away, I overheard him asking Linda, does President Taylor always dress like this? Linda, ever innocent, replied brightly, of course. With her looks and figure, total knockout. Evan's mouth twitched. That evening, I had a crucial dinner with the family and the Scott family. The main purpose was to secure the plot of land in the north, and to quietly gauge both families' attitudes toward the Taylor family. The family had never been on friendly terms with us, so I expected a tough crowd. Just to be safe, I told Tim to be at the entrance to pick me up at precisely 9 o'clock. Inside the private room, I waited nearly an hour before Samuel West and Hudson Scott finally rushed in. Hudson greeted me with his trademark insincere smile. Amber, I forgot to mention, Uncle White and I already finalized the deal for that land. You should go home early. Don't make your father worry. I handed them the project proposal. Sean gave it a careless glance and said, Amber, by seniority, you ought to be calling me, Uncle. I heard you're about to marry into the Parker family. You really shouldn't meddle in these matters anymore. Giving the Parker family a baby, that's your top priority now, isn't it? I gave him a faint smile. Uncle Scott, the way you say that makes it sound like the only reason you're refusing to cooperate with us is because Taylor family's successor happens to be a woman. Sean patted me on the shoulder. Amber, you can blame it on your Uncle White being too soft on his daughter. He leaned in and lowered his voice. To be honest, that plot of land isn't that important to the family. But you made Nina unhappy. As her father, it's only natural that I help her get even. A server came in with a freshly opened bottle of red wine. Sean lifted it and handed it to me with a smirk. How about this, let's give the younger generation a chance. If you can finish this bottle, Uncle White, and I will let this one slide. I noticed immediately, the seal had been tampered with. The bottle had already been opened. From the doorway, a voice suddenly called out. Dad, I don't need you to fight my battles. I'll handle them myself. Nina burst into the room and grabbed another bottle of red wine, splashing it all over me. My white dress clung wetly to my legs, the wine dripping down to my ankles. Nina, how did you get here? Samuel West frowned. I told you to stay out of business affairs. Why can she be here and not me? If Amber gets to run the company, why can't I do the same? Then, drawing close, Nina pushed me. Under her breath, she whispered, don't drink it. Something's been added to that wine. Samuel West ordered someone to take her away, but Sean clearly had no intention of letting me leave. I glanced at the clock, 3 seconds to 9. 3, 2, bang. The door burst open. I frowned slightly when I saw who it was. Evan? His eyes were dark and sharp, radiating cold fury as he swept his gaze over the two men in the room. Even in that tense atmosphere, he carried more weight than either of them. Samuel West and Sean both froze, caught off guard, their expressions instantly tightening. Wasn't Evan supposed to oppose the engagement? Someone whispered. What is he doing here? He casually draped a pearl-colored shawl over my shoulders. If the family and the Scott family are going to gang up on my fiancé like this, he said icily, then I assume you're prepared to go to war with both the Taylor and Parker families. Once we were in the car, Evan didn't drive off immediately. Instead, he bent forward and gently held my ankle. His fingers were cold. Don't move. He pulled a few tissues and began wiping the red wine from my foot. The family and Scott family aren't just scheming over this land, he said calmly. They're playing dirty, and you're not like them. I stared out the window, using the chill of the night air to stay composed. I know. But now that my father's sick, if I can't hold up the Taylor family, we'll either be devoured by those two, or by the Parker family. Evan's handsome brows furrowed. If you know that, why did you go alone? I had it all arranged, I said softly. Just didn't expect you to show up. Wasn't Tim supposed to pick me up? My dad placed me in the Taylor family so I could help you. From now on, if anything comes up, let me handle it. He was silent for a long moment before continuing. Amber, we're engaged. I didn't respond. Let's go, he finally said. Dad's waiting for us for dinner. Leaning back in Evan's passenger seat, I felt drowsiness wash over me. I reached out to roll up the window, but Evan beat me to it, pressing the button from his seat. I tilted toward him and slowly closed my eyes. Now and then, I could hear the sound of his throat swallowing. I opened my eyes a sliver, and saw that the tips of his ears had turned a deep red. I pretended not to notice, inching even closer to him. At the Parker residence, as we stepped out of the car, Evan noticed my slight wince and frowned. What's wrong? I sighed. My foot's a bit numb. Without hesitation, Evan opened the door, pulled my arms around his neck, and scooped me up in his arms. Right at that moment, the butler and both families' elders came out. Amber, we heard the family and Scott family openly went after you tonight. They're getting desperate. When our Parker family was in trouble, only the Taylor family stepped in to help. This time, we'll support you with everything we've got. The elders chatted about business, then inevitably shifted to the topic of me and Evan. Amber, why don't you just stay here for a few days? Aunt Parker suggested. We just renovated a guest room. It's decorated exactly how you like it. Clearly, they'd gone to great lengths to prepare. In the evenings, your Uncle Parker and I usually go out for walks. If you need anything, just ask Evan. He looks clueless, but he's actually more thoughtful than anyone. Thank you, Aunt Parker. The entire second floor had only 2 bedrooms, Evan's and mine. His door was firmly shut. He wasn't in the bathroom, right? Carrying my change of clothes, I pushed the bathroom door open. The door wasn't locked. With a light push, it opened, and a wave of steam poured out. Evan had just finished showering. A towel was wrapped low around his waist, and water still clung to his black hair. Droplets rolled down the sharply defined lines of his abs, tracing along the deep V of his hips and disappearing beneath the towel. Even his sculpted face, like it was drawn from a model, was dotted with moisture, and his clear eyes shimmered with something that almost resembled a silent accusation. The entire bathroom was filled with his scent, clean, refreshing, laced with a hint of body wash. I didn't know you were in here, I said, suddenly feeling flushed. My voice had gone a little hoarse. I turned to leave, but Evan grabbed my wrist. Do you need the bathroom? That unfairly gorgeous face was less than an inch away from mine. There's probably no other shampoo or shower gel left. You'll have to make do with mine, hope that's okay? Sure. Back in his room, Evan pulled out his phone. He stared at the screen for a long while before finally sending a message to Justin. How did you ask that girl for her WeChat last time? Justin called him immediately. Brother Evan? Whose WeChat are you trying to get? Since when do you add people first? She's someone you don't know. Wait, won't your fiancé get mad? Annoyed, Evan had no energy to explain. Just tell me how you did it. Oh, I just offered to pay when we were shopping or bought her a drink and chatted a bit, then it just happened naturally. Justin clearly wanted to keep teasing, but Evan hung up without a word. Then came a second call, this time from 2 gossip-loving relatives. Son, did you seize the opportunity tonight? The only things you've got that might win Amber over are your looks and your body. Know your strengths. I heard a lot of guys are chasing her. Even after the engagement was announced, the suitors haven't stopped. You'd better shape up. Got it. Evan hung up, more irritated than ever. From the other side of the call, his dad scratched his head. Strange. He's not trying to break off the engagement anymore? Did the sun rise in the west today? When I came out of the shower, I spotted Evan leaning casually against the wall outside the bathroom, his pale fingers flying across his phone screen. As soon as he noticed me, he quickly turned off the screen. My mom said I should take you to the supermarket. See if there's anything else you need. I waved him off. It's all very thorough. I don't need anything. But he didn't seem inclined to leave. I figured Aunt Parker had probably pressured him. All right then, let me go change. I changed into a gray hoodie, coincidentally the same color as the one Evan was wearing. We looked vaguely like a couple. Not only were our clothes similar, but even the scent on us matched. Let's go, he said, casually taking the shoulder bag from my hand. The mall wasn't big. After several loops, all we ended up with were some toothbrushes, shampoo, body wash, and a few scented candles. And one giant bunny plushie, which Evan had insisted on buying. It was now nestled in my arms. Each time we checked out, Evan raced to pay first. "It's nothing," he said. I sighed. "Still, I should at least transfer you the money. I can't just mooch off you and make you pay." "All right," he replied. Then, with one tap, Evan opened up his QR code on WeChat. "Add me then." Just as I was scanning it, a message popped up on his screen. "So? Did you get her WeChat yet?" Before I could read more, he swiped the message away. After I sent him the transfer, I looked up, and spotted two very familiar silhouettes, tangled up in an overly intimate embrace. "Baby, I missed you so much, wah. Kiss, kiss, moi." I cleared my throat. "Nina?" Evan frowned. "Justin?" They looked up in surprise. "You guys too?" Nina explained that after Evan and I met the other day, she'd sensed that something serious might actually happen between us. Justin had tried to comfort her, they drank, talked, and ended up kissing. Now they were officially together. "Honestly, I never really liked Evan," she said, resting her head on Justin's shoulder. "It was just his face, it's criminally attractive. But now that I look at Justin, he's pretty hot too." I looked at the way the two of them stared at each other with literal hard eyes and smiled. "I didn't get the chance to thank you for earlier tonight," I said. Nina lifted her chin. "I might not like you, but I don't want my dad making a mistake either. He was manipulated by Sean. I can try to talk to my dad, he still has some respect for the Parker family. But as for the Scott family, it's hard to say. They'll definitely keep targeting you." Then, with a sly glance, she added, "Oh, and I heard about Evan's big hero moment. Rescuing a damsel in distress, how romantic. I bet he fought for that chance, didn't you, brother Evan?" Before we could keep chatting, Evan and Justin walked over. "Wifey, you done talking? Time to head back," Justin beamed, eyes glowing like a puppy in love. Nina wrapped her arm around his. "Amber, looks like I win this round. My boyfriend's way more affectionate than yours." Then she gave Justin a smooch. "Baby, I bought a ton of oysters, time to boost your energy." I felt my cheeks flush instantly and, without thinking, glanced toward Evan. In my mind, a certain image from the bathroom flickered, his pale, toned waist, taut muscles, and I quickly shook the thought away. "Oh right," I said, "how did you even know what the Scott family was planning?" "Wifey, you think I'm just some useless rich kid with nothing but money?" Then Evan realized what he'd just said and awkwardly started fidgeting in place. Justin dragged me along. "That's all." "I know," I said with a smirk. Later that night, I finally got through to Tim on the phone. "Sister Amber. I finally reached you." Tim sobbed. "Evan sent me off and said he'd pick you up himself. I thought it was just to be polite, turns out he had me driven into the mountains. No signal at all. I just got out. Did I mess anything up for you? My dad's going to kill me again." "Sister Amber, why aren't you saying anything?" I stifled a laugh. "Get some rest." After hanging up, I opened my chat with Evan. The transfer still hadn't been accepted. I was about to send a message when a new one from him popped up. "Evan, are you asleep?" Me, "Not yet. Don't forget to accept the money." "Evan, what time are you going to work tomorrow?" "I'll take you." I thought for a moment before replying. Me, "No need. Tim will be picking me up." Evan, "Then lunch? There's a good restaurant near your office." Me, "I've got a meeting at noon. I'll probably just grab something quick." After that, he didn't send another message. I put down my phone and turned off the light. Then one final message arrived. "Evan, good night." Evan lay in bed, unable to fall asleep. He pulled out his phone and sent a message to Justin. "How did you and Nina get together so quickly?" At that very moment, Justin was out on the balcony wearing an apron, doing laundry. He dried his hands and replied, "What do you mean? We like each other, so we got together. That's normal, isn't it?" Evan paused, then typed, "Maybe Nina should know about the 10 close female friends you've had over the years." Justin panicked. His fingers were practically smoking on the screen. "Come on, we're brothers. Why stab me in the heart like that, brother Evan? I'll give you my 10-year girl-chasing playbook, just please don't tell Nina, okay?" Evan, 10 years? Justin, what's wrong with that? Evan, send it over. The next day, Evan messaged me to say he'd be coming to the office later. By noon, he still hadn't shown up. Instead, Sean did. He arrived sooner than I'd anticipated. Our team hadn't even prepared to close in on the people we planted inside the Scott family. As soon as the meeting room door closed, Sean's expression shifted dramatically. "Amber, I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have made things difficult for you last night. If Taylor family still wants that land, the Scott family is willing to step back." His attitude had flipped way too fast. I studied him quietly. What do you want? He hesitated multiple times before finally blurting it out. Could you let my son go? His son? Wasn't he overseas? Just then, a familiar, lazy voice sounded from the door. President Scott, if your son decided to take the criminal route, not even God can save him now. It was Evan. You've gone too far, Evan. Evan's smile didn't reach his eyes. President Scott, if you've got time to sit here and beg, maybe you should use it to find your son. The Taylor family isn't something you can swallow whole. Sean was so furious, he almost lost his balance. You did this? I had heard whispers about some shady dealings in the Scott family, but with everything happening at Taylor family, I hadn't had the time or manpower to investigate. I hadn't expected Evan not only to know about it, but to act on it for me. Evan flipped his lighter open and shut with a click. Amber, someone's got to get their hands dirty. Louis Scott never cleaned up after himself, didn't take much effort to find his weak spots. That location was 5 hours away from Sea City. If Evan had just returned, he must have left in the middle of the night. I'll have Linda get you lunch, I said. Evan waved it off with a casual air. I'm going to catch up on sleep. I'll come pick you up for dinner. From that day on, even the cleaning staff at the office were whispering about my engagement to Evan. Didn't someone say the Parker family's young master wasn't into President Taylor? He's basically glued to her now. They're such a perfect match. Just today, I saw him deliver lunch to her personally. I swear I came back to life watching them. My heart melted. The gossip got so intense, someone even created a group chat dedicated solely to posting daily updates and candid shots of Evan and me. A week later, someone somehow added Evan to the group. As soon as people recognized him, the chat went dead silent. Everyone went into ghost mode. The next second, Evan sent a red envelope worth $20,000. Mind sending me the original photos? Thanks. The group exploded instantly. He was promptly promoted to group admin. Evan's easygoing attitude made people even bolder. Little President Parker, if Sister Amber's so great, why were you against the engagement in the first place? A moment later, that person was unceremoniously kicked out of the group. Let's talk about Amber, not the dumb stuff I did in the past. These days, Evan came to the office with me every single day. If I wore a red dress, he wore a red tie. If I wore a white shirt, he showed up in a white one too. We made great photos, to be honest. Every day, there'd be new gifts on my desk. If not the latest jewelry, then it was a watch. I accepted them all and quietly tucked them into my drawer. During lunch, Evan glanced at my wrist. When he saw I wasn't wearing anything, the light in his eyes dimmed slightly. I'm not really used to wearing accessories, I explained. Without a word, Evan removed his own watch and slipped it into his pocket. Same here. Not really my thing either. Originally, I had only planned to stay at the Parker residence for 2 weeks, as agreed with Aunt Parker. Now that the time had come, I packed up to go home. Evan dropped me off downstairs. Suddenly, he asked, "Can I still pick you up for work tomorrow? We live a bit far from each other. I'll have Uncle Fisher take me." Oh. Evan lowered his head, looking like a dejected puppy. I hesitated, then softened. "Do you want to come up and see my cat?" His eyes lit up, but he tried to stay cool. "Won't it disturb your parents? It's kind of late. They won't mind." Evan immediately pulled out his phone and typed a desperate message. "Guys, first time going to a girl's place, what should I bring?" "Wait, what? You're already going to her house? So she finally gets it now?" "Justin, grab a baby maker kit from the nearest convenience store. Asterisk, don't listen to him, start with a kiss, slow and steady, don't scare her off." "Evan, you're right. That makes more sense." Noticing Evan hadn't followed me upstairs, I called down, "You coming?" "Nope." He shoved his phone into his pocket and quickly caught up. "So you really do have a cat," Evan said. "Told you. Isn't she cute?" "Uh-huh, yeah." Evan awkwardly patted Katie's head. She meowed in protest. I picked her up and kissed her on the head to calm her down. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Evan's shirt had come undone at the top, revealing the sharp lines of his collarbone and a hint of toned muscle. Just then, my parents returned from their evening walk. "Oh, Evan. You're here. Amber, why didn't you tell us?" Evan quickly buttoned up his shirt. "Uncle, Auntie, I just dropped Amber off. It's getting late, I'll head home now." And the next second, he was gone from the doorway. Inside the club, Evan had gathered his usual group of friends again. "Brother Evan, why do you look so down? Don't tell me you still haven't gotten the sister-in-law to fall for you." "Impossible. Come on, I'm Justin. My girlfriend getting strategy always works. Any other girl would have been head over heels by now." Evan shot him a cold glance. "Amber's not just any other woman. I told you to post those gym photos, did you?" "I did. She didn't even like them." And the fake drunk call? Called her. She came to pick me up, then told the driver to take me home. What about the last trick, sending a confession and then deleting it? I sent it. Then deleted it. She said she didn't even see what I sent. Could it be that sister-in-law truly has zero desire for you? Everyone went silent, as if they'd misheard. This was Brother Evan, the guy least interested in chasing girls, and here he was, acting like a clown for love. Don't tell me your charm's fading, Brother Evan. I haven't seen a single girl ask for your WeChat lately. What does sister-in-law like, anyway? A woman's heart is a deep ocean. Her standards must be sky-high. If even someone like Brother Evan doesn't make the cut, what hope is there for the rest of us? Justin rubbed his chin. I've got one last move, forcible love. I mean, the engagement's already settled. Love is like a melon, sometimes you just got to twist it off the vine and take a bite to know it's sweet. Sister-in-law too, she'll never know how energetic our Brother Evan is unless she tries. How about this? We'll call her and say you're drunk. Then when she shows up, just kiss her. If she doesn't push you away, you've won. Evan stood and headed toward the door, intending to order more drinks. That's when I walked past. Our eyes met. Am I drunk? Evan muttered. I swear I just saw my wifey. Justin and the others looked around. Nope, no one there. Brother Evan, you've got it bad, lovesick, for real. 10 minutes later. Sister-in-law, Brother Evan's drunk. Can you come pick him up at the WA club? Justin called. I arrived, pushed open the private room door, and locked eyes with the entire table of them. Damn. Sister-in-law dropped in from the sky. Justin, ever the opportunist, helped me get the completely passed out Evan into my car. Sister Amber, Brother Evan's all yours now. And with that, they vanished. Not one of them stayed behind. We stopped in front of the Taylor residence. I had Tim help me carry him inside. It took quite some effort, but I finally got him onto the bed. Just as I was about to leave, Evan suddenly grabbed my hand. I turned to look. The tips of his ears were slowly turning red. I reached over to adjust his pillow, accidentally brushing against his lips. Evan froze completely. Evan? I called his name. He didn't respond. I smiled slightly and turned to leave. Evan at all members, she kissed me. The group chat exploded. For real? Seriously? +1. Same question +++. Evan, yeah. She said my name too. It sounded really nice. Silence. Then. Brother Evan, you're beyond saving. That's it? Nothing else? Come on. What happened next? I'm ready to pay for bonus content. She left. Dude, what about the whole forcible love plan? She kissed me. Bro, if she kissed you, then that's her forcing love on you. Exactly. I give up. I can't even continue this conversation. Same. In the week that followed, the club became unusually busy. Because Evan had rented out the entire place, spending a fortune to set up a grand confession. He told me it was a gathering Justin and Nina had arranged. I saw through it, but didn't call him out. When Evan came over with a bouquet in his arms, even the club manager hurried over to ask, Boss, the day you mentioned closing the club, should we finalize that now? 1 second, 2 seconds. The whole world seemed to pause. Boss. I looked at Evan and finally told him the truth. I had seen him at the club many times before, he just hadn't noticed me. I had liked him for a long time. In this elite world, clean and decent people were far too rare. Someone like Evan was even rarer. He would stand up for a part-time waitress. He would pay the medical bills of someone who'd been beaten. I liked him because he was a good person. But I didn't want us to just share drinks, jokes, or conversations in a club. I wanted us to walk through life side by side, supporting each other. To be one another's strength. To think of each other in difficult times, and gain courage and hope from that memory. Because love isn't just about companionship in daily life, but in spirit too. And Evan Parker is that kind of love. So, even if he hadn't planned this grand confession, I would have been the one to take the first step. That night, Evan posted a 9-photo carousel on his WeChat moments. All of us, together. My wifey has been plotting against me for ages. Lucky me. The notifications flooded in. But neither of us had time to care. Wifey, Evan whispered, lips grazing my ear, close your eyes. Focus. In his arms, I finally understood, love wasn't grand gestures or perfect timing. It was him, quietly showing up again and again. If this is what it means to fall, then I'm not afraid. With Evan, I'm not just in love. I'm home.